good times. Hey everybody, and welcome to From My Mother's Basement, the show that celebrates being a geek. I'm Jason.
And I am Michael.
And you know what, Michael? I should have used the old parody intro for this week. Just for old time's sake, because Psy is coming out with the new music video this week.
Oh?
Yeah, he's doing it. He's some collaboration with Snoop Dogg of all people.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so that comes out
Snoop Lion and Psy.
something like that. Yeah. No, I think he's back to being Snoop Dogg now. So.
Oh, is he back to dog?
I think so. Who knows?
That's where like Prince got rid of the symbol.
Yeah, the artist formerly known as.
The artist formerly known as the artist formerly known as Prince.
Something crazy like that.
What do you expect from a guy whose initials are PR?
Good point. So what have you been up to, Michael? What's going on with the past week?
Well, there's been some interesting bits here and there. I have not finished X-Men Days of Future Past yet.
Okay.
I'm about halfway through it.
Okay.
And the reason for this is the part that the movie's based on. Okay, so basically what it is, most trades when they come out, if they don't encapsulate a full storyline, are basically, this trade encapsulates, issues 25 through 32 or whatever the number is.
Right.
It's just all the episodes from that, all the issues from that series gathered together in a chunk.
Okay.
That's basically what the Days of Future Past collection was. The problem is the Days of Future Past storyline doesn't start until like the third to last issue that's covered in the book. The entire first 3 issues that are compiled in there are all about the death of one of the many deaths of Jean Grey, and Scott's and it's all Scott Summers pulling a Shinji and soliloquizing. While attempting to give you an encapsulated history of the story so far, and
which, given how convoluted the X-Men universe has gotten over the years, that's a very tall order.
You need a flowchart to follow that map for sure.
Right.
But it's a real. I'm sorry. As much as I love the X-Men, it's a dry ass read. So I haven't gotten to that point yet. I will hopefully get to that point, and it'll get better. Okay. Nikki told me it did, so we'll go from there. So I haven't finished that yet. Sorry, guys. I can't tell you. I can't compare the two, right?
Although I did see the movie last night. So
how'd you like it?
All I can say is retcon the movie.
And it is, and they totally pulled an Abrams, but
they really did. And there was actually several people in the theater when I was watching it at certain key points, especially near the end, where they're just like, "What the hell just happened? What's going on? Why are they back? Why are they gone?" And I'm like, I feel like they should have like someone come out, like you said, with a flow chart and say, "This is what happened here," and they had to show up in a thick German accent too to try to.
Yeah, if you look over here, you will see that this is where the Dark Phoenix was found. The problem is the story follows. Have you not seen the Butterfly Effect? You should. It's actually one of Ashton Kutcher's better movies. But if you go over here, you will notice that it's.
Yeah.
It's.
Although I will say,
I did enjoy it greatly. Did you catch the feels part I was talking about?
Yes.
Doesn't that just hit you like a ton of bricks?
Do they have to put that in there? Yeah.
Well, no, it made. But the thing is, it wasn't gratuitous. It wasn't. Made perfect sense.
It made perfect sense. Yes. And I will say, the little end of after credits teaser
Wasn't that well done?
Has me hyped for Apocalypse. So I'm looking forward to see what happens with that one, and I'm guessing that I'll probably.
I love the whole thing of. By the way, spoiler zone. Oh fuck! It's not like it's printed anywhere anyway.
Yeah.
On the hill, the 4 horsemen just there. Was like, oh yeah, yes.
I do have to say, it was very interesting how they tried to incorporate the mutants through the major events of the 1970s.
Yeah,
like Eric Lenger's attachment to JFK was like, okay.
Yeah. That was okay. Yeah, that wasn't an event of the 70s, my friend. That was an event of the 60s.
Okay, my apologies.
It's actually older than me.
It takes place. The movie takes place in the 70s, which is why I said 70s.
Right. Takes place in 1973.
Yes.
yeah, no, when he flipped that one out, and I'm just like, really? Okay.
Although I do have to agree with you, the guy who they got to play Nixon, he actually did a pretty damn good job.
He did a really good job. I was impressed.
Yeah.
I was very impressed.
It worked well. I do like it. What was the notification? Who just put it in the chat right now? Sega fan, let us know that the entire 90s series, or
The anime series, yeah, or animated
series, the cartoon, is available on Vudu.
I don't get Voodoo.
I can already hear the theme song in my mind.
Yeah, me too.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah.
But I'd be curious to see how they handle Apocalypse and where they're going to go forward from there, because I'm quite sure near the end, or by the time Apocalypse comes out, their license contract has to be expiring sometime shortly thereafter, right?
I heard somewhere, I don't know if this is true or not, but I heard somewhere that the license, as long as they make titles, they have the opportunity to renew the license.
Ah, it's one of those. Okay.
So, but, if I'm realistically thinking about it, though, if you think about it, it's kind of good that the mutant universe and the Shield universe are separate for a couple of reasons. No reference to the Chitauri invasion.
Right.
That wasn't. Was it Chitauri? Yeah, it was Chitauri.
Chitauri, yeah.
Yeah, Chitauri invasion. And New York being blown to hell and back, because Spidey would have been all over that.
Right.
So I mean, it kind of works that they're separated universes. Though I kind of like when Avengers and mutants get together. Like, I would love to see a spread out across several pictures.
Yep.
But I would love to see Marvel Civil War. I think that, properly written, that could be epic.
Yeah, it could easily be epic. I remember we had this conversation several times about it.
Yeah. I mean,
but this is Fox going, we have this license. This is the big thing right now. Why the hell would we give up what we have?
Well, it's also Fox going, hey, Sony, yeah, you're my buddy. Disney, fuck you.
Yeah, pretty much.
Because they got referenced in the Spider-Man movie. So...
yeah, in a big way. And the thing is, though, so you'll have Spider-Man and all of his characters, and
which kind of makes sense.
X-Men and all their characters. Okay, I can see where this is possibly going,
but you know what? I'm sorry, go ahead.
I just look at it as you're not going to get the full picture. It's still going to be like an offshoot. It's kind of like if you have
well, it's multiple parallel planets, if you will.
Okay.
Which is kind of how which is how the comics are written anyway.
This is true. These comics were made into a sense that I could have sworn, reading them the first time, that if I read them now, that I could have sworn J.J. Abrams was behind the scenes on all of this.
Oh yeah, totally. And did you notice that now that we can talk about it?
Yeah.
How did you like the evolved versions of the Sentinels?
Someone watched War of the Worlds just before they did the character design.
Actually, you know what first popped into my head? Oh, they must have made friends with Disney, because they took the Sentinel from Thor.
Yeah. That was the other bit. I was like, someone like,
they did the whole face open thing. I'm like going, it's fucking Thor.
Yeah. I wanted my giant multi-story high purple and pink thick gloved Sentinels.
But you got to understand, though, in the original comics, there are several iterations of Sentinels, and they, for what they are, the ones they had in the 1973 Sentinels, while not a perfect rendition by any stretch, looked pretty damn good. I mean, for what they were, it was a good adaptation.
Yes.
And the idea that they would have evolved into the Thor Sentinels is not unheard of.
True.
But in the comics, they talk about, there was a first set of Sentinels that decided that basically became Skynet, for lack of a better term, because they decided, oh, well, all humans can do this, so let's just wipe out the humans.
Right.
And Bolivar Trask realized this and stopped them. And that ended that one. But then there's another thing where Bolivar Trask's son or something or other, which is covered in the Days of Future Past history bit, brings them back for whatever reason, and they end up something called Master Mold takes place, which rules the Sentinels. They have to fight them again. So the idea that it goes through logical progressions is not unheard of. I do like the way they handled it in the movie.
Okay, yeah, I'll agree with that.
But it definitely looked like it was ripped off from Thor.
Yeah.
And for something that's supposed to have no metal in it, those bits in the head were definitely metal, which means Magneto should have been able to shred those bastards.
Well, remember, there's we talk more into it, we're going to start making more spoilers, but we can move on to some other Marvel stuff. I know with Comic-Con coming up, we're going to get like a lot of the announcements coming up for what's going to happen in Phase 3 of the Marvel Universe. The latest bit of news, which caught my eye, is not about Ant-Man, although that's kind of sad to see all the directorial problems they're having with that one, but Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
The one that even hasn't really been announced yet by Marvel.
Have they announced who's playing him yet?
No, that's the thing, though. According to an article in Deadline, the big two names that Marvel's looking at to play the title character is either Tom Hardy or Benedict Cumberbatch.
No, God, no. You need a guy older to play Strange. Oh God, really? Don't get me wrong. I like Benedict Cumberbatch. I really do, but he is not Stephen Strange.
No, he really isn't.
Who was I talking with earlier this week? I was talking with somebody. We were actually bouncing around ideas for who could be Strange.
Which would be funny, like if you get Tom Hardy to come in to try to play Strange, there has to be a Bane reference in there somewhere.
What's funny is you then get that same actor and make a live action version of Venture Brothers.
Yes.
Because he could be he turn around and play Dr. Orpheus. It's the same freaking character.
That'd be great. Welcome to the yeah.
What's wrong, Pumpkin?
Oh, that'd be hilarious.
Because that's who Orpheus is based off of. Is Strange. God, I can't remember who the actor was, but I don't know.
Can't remember.
I can't, unfortunately.
Okay.
It was somebody I was looking. It wasn't Frank Langella. Moving right along.
Okay, no worries.
But speaking of Sentinels and evolution and whatnot, haha, my turn for a segue.
Nice.
What?
As he's interrupted, he lost the streak.
Anyway, speaking of evolution and Sentinels, something happened this week that is a quantum leap forward potentially quantum leap forward in computing. In Russia, a computer has passed for the first time in recorded knowledge, either way,
recorded history.
for the first time that we're aware of, a computer has actually passed the Turing test. What is the Turing test, you ask? The condensed version of it, without going to Wikipedia and pulling the full definition, is a computer being able to communicate with humans so much that it fools at least 30% of them into believing it's real, that it's not a computer, that its interactions with the humans become indistinguishable from a real interaction between people.
Right.
This machine in Russia did it.
I like how they did it, though.
It's kind of creepy how they did it, actually.
Yeah.
Because you know where they're going with that. This machine in Russia convinced the board that was issuing the test that it was a 13-year-old boy talking text with him, chatting with him in a chat room. And by the time it was done, over 30%, they didn't give the exact number in the article, unfortunately, but over 30% of the scientists were convinced they were talking to a real human being, not a computer. That passes the Turing test.
Now, my question is, now that they've done this, how fast will the second computer be able to pass the Turing test? And what do they have in store for these computers? For
What
these
I'm
programs?
more worried about are entrapment,
Okay.
which and let me clarify what I mean. I am by no means promoting child molestation. I think it's a despicable thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, as a person who has had that happen in my life, the idea of is abhorrent to me. But I have a really big problem with entrapment.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, that's one of the reasons I had To Catch a Predator. I had problems with that show. I got what they were doing. I get their gist, and I get what they were going for, but I just don't like the idea of entrapment.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, so there's that. There's also, you know, what's to prevent the FBI from using it to set up, you know, scenarios there? What's to keep bad guys who manage to get a hold of the code to prevent it from using it for crime?
You say bad guys. You can swap that out for governments.
Governments, black hat hackers. Now, most black hat hackers would come at me going, "That's not what we do." I get that. It's not my freaking point. The possibilities are there. It's like it's like any tool. The tool itself is not evil. What are you going to do with it?
True. Very true. I mean,
What was this thing's name? I forgot.
The person's name, Eugene. So
Yeah, it was a little 13-year-old kid named Eugene. I mean, they asked you questions like, "What are your favorite sci-fi movies?" And he responded with, "I like Star Wars and The Matrix." Yeah. I mean,
But I look at it as the way they handle the Turing test is basically just a chat box, and it's not, this version, I should say, for Eugene is not true AI. It's just really well coded and has a very vast amount of options to use at its disposal, but it's not really true AI, although I'll still give it props for what it is.
Well, it's not it hasn't achieved singularity.
No, it's not going to come back to me and go,
it's still an AI. It's definitely an AI. It's an artificial intelligence, but it's not a true, it hasn't reached the true "I think therefore I am" state.
Right.
It's funny. One of the questions, one of the guys that had gotten fooled,
mm-hmm.
you know, he's the one who asked, you know, what are your favorite sci-fi movies? I like Star Wars and The Matrix, comes a type reply. I'm trying to work out if I'm talking to a hidden human in the next room or actually a machine located somewhere in cyberspace. Can we agree the prequels sucked? I continue. Absolutely. Lucas should be shot, came the response. That settled it. Only a flesh and blood movie buff could be so enraged by The Phantom Menace.
Well played. Well played. I like that. That is fantastic.
I thought that was pretty funny. That's why I had to share that part. But, you know, it's just one step closer in the uncanny valley.
Yeah.
You know, we're hitting that precipice to the point where we're almost across it.
Very true. Very true.
Okay, now that I stole your segue, your turn.
I don't have a segue to go from that, though. That's the problem. You know, screw it. We don't need a segue. Let's move on to comics. Because we don't talk about comics too much about
Actually,
this.
do you want to jump back to number 9?
Yeah, let's jump to that one.
Yeah, because we kind of jumped over when we went to the Turing test because I didn't realize that was higher on the echelon.
That's true. So
welcome to live TV. Anyway,
so the start of the Star Wars weekends over at Walt Disney World started last week, and there was a number of people, you know, and artists and actors and random people who you thought had a role, and they probably did have a role, maybe minor, maybe major, showed up for this. It's a big event, Star Wars weekends. Kind of wish they would have them over here instead of just having the celebration. But
in time they might.
That's besides the point. So apparently, there was one time during the Star Wars weekends where Mark Hamill shows up, and he's wearing this like similar kind of beard that like Qui-Gon used to wear, like the prequels. Well, now so I'm like, okay, so that's gonna be.
Hey, I'm the wizened old man beard.
Yeah, I think it's how he's gonna be in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
But there was a question asked.
Yeah, they basically took audience Twitter questions.
Right. And so I think one of the
Tell me
better.
you're playing the video.
I will. One of the better questions was.
Well, let the video show
I
it.
am. Can you perform a conversation with someone?
Okay, there you go.
So,
Yeah.
There we go.
I would have loved to have been there for that.
You can go online and watch the full interview. I watched it already. It's well worth your time.
Oh, you need to
check that one out. Now, why can't I have more of this stuff over here on the West Coast?
Yeah, no kidding.
Though I guess I need to start saving up so I can go to Walt Disney World and Orlando and all the other theme parks there. So,
indeed,
we'll see what happens with that. Good times.
Now, shall we move to comics? No, wait. What do we got here?
You want me to...
Are we going back on point, or are we going jumping back to 13, or are we going?
Yeah, we'll go through them in order. That's fine because we ever go in order anyways. But
oh my god,
I do want to touch back on some Marvel stuff real quick. We already discussed about the upcoming Agent Carter, how it's going to be 8 to 10 episodes going to happen between the split of season 2 of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., showcasing how S.H.I.E.L.D. got its roots, and I think it's going to be a fantastic bit. We already know Haley Atwell is coming back to reprise her role as, obviously, Agent Carter. But recently, I know, Michael, you joked about this a couple weeks ago. You wanted to
I need to joke more because I turned out to be correct.
You turned out definitely correct because you're like, it'd be great to have Howard Stark back because he was a great...
he was a well-played character.
He really was. And Haley Atwell has already spilled the beans to the Daily Telegraph, stating that Dominic Cooper is back to reprise his role, and he's doing all these behind-the-scenes shenanigans as well.
Nice.
So having those two play off each other in a TV series will be definitely something enjoyable to watch.
Indeed.
That's pretty much it for all the Marvel stuff real quick. Do we
want to move into DC? Because we have one thing DC.
Yeah.
Although technically Joker was DC, but
technically Joker was DC, but Nikki has a new
yeah, they finally released something they've been working on for a while. Mm-hmm. You guys remember when I got my my Harley Quinn bombshell figure? Mm-hmm. If you guys want to see her again, I'll bring her in next week. But they were doing other ones. They were doing Wonder Woman, Batgirl. There's a Poison Ivy out, and they were doing Black Canary. Well, she finally came out.
God, it looks so good.
This is just the box.
I know, that's the thing. I just need the pictures of the box and be like, wow, they took their time. But
yeah, they took their time. The sculpt is beautiful. The figure itself is
such a great pose for that character.
Well, and it's the fishnets are genuine fishnet.
Nice.
The level of detail in the paint, I don't know if the camera will focus it or not.
Yeah, there it goes.
The level of detail in this figure. The sculpt is beautiful. It's solidly made.
The hair doesn't look plasticky.
No, I mean it's well designed all around. If you guys, Hypno has them for 120, if I remember correctly, 120, 130, worth every freaking penny. Even if you're not a major Black Canary fan, which we weren't really, but this figure just, oh my God, beautiful. I mean, I would say it's as good as the Harley figure, hands down.
Well, one would hope that, if they're in the same line, that they would actually all have the same basic level of quality across each product.
Right, but the original pose may not have been as good. Like the problem I had with the Batgirl, the Wonder Woman was pretty cool. She was kind of like a Rosie the Riveter thing, kinda, loosely. And Poison Ivy was a definite Betty Page tribute, which is kind of what Poison Ivy always was kind of Betty Page inspired.
Right.
But it wasn't. I mean, it was literally a stock Betty Page pose that they put her in. So I wasn't really that hot to get that one. The Batgirl one, she looked like Junior Spaceman to me. You know, something out of the 1930s and 40s Flash Gordon.
Okay.
And the Wonder Woman one was pretty good though, but the Black Canary and the Harley are definitely the two best in the series so far.
And most likely, you and Nikki are getting every single one in this lineup, right?
We haven't the Harley and the Black Canary are the only ones we picked up.
Okay.
Ivy, Batgirl, and Wonder Woman are out. They're available. So these are the only two that we really had to have. I mean, will I get the others? Maybe. It's not as critical. If I want to fill out the set, sure.
Right.
But I've got to move to plan here. I don't have the money to go buying these things.
This is very true. Just like I have, my figures and collectibles that I want to pre-order, and I'm just realizing, wait a minute. I have to save a decent amount of money so I can move out within 4 or 5 months. I'm not moving nowhere near as far as, say, you are, but
yeah, well,
a move is
9
pricey
months,
regardless.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, no kidding. No kidding.
Even if it's just down the street.
So back to schedule for a second. And speaking of, while we're still on the topic of movies, looking at number 16, I've never heard of this. Tell us about it, please.
Okay. So there is a spy thriller called The November Man. It was actually initially greenlit, I think, in the early 2000s, and then we had nothing but like radio silence for this thing. The last bit of news we got about this movie, if it was in production, if there was anything going on with it, it actually would have. That was back in like 2012, just an inkling. But apparently, they've been working on this for a while in the back, almost on the back burner. But they have some good talent involved with this. I mean, you have Pierce Brosnan, basically playing like a Bond-like character. You also have Dominic Cooper's playing the villain for this movie. A few other people. Let me just do this. Let me go ahead and show the trailer that has just recently been revealed. I think it was maybe 2 days ago. And I do have to say, I've been seeing more and more trailers for more and more spy thrillers coming up in the very near future. And I, for one, am all for it.
Oh, yeah, like Kingsman? I am so looking forward to Kingsman.
Seeing that day and date of release. Definitely have to see that one.
Yeah.
So let's check this out. This is the trailer, I'll be the first trailer for The November Man.
I want to know more about the story.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously he was a spy, his wife got killed, blah, blah, blah. That explains the whole no love in this field thing.
Right.
I'm curious.
Yeah. I do have to make a correction, though. I was mentioning that Dominic Cooper was in this one. Initially, he was set to play a character, but he's been replaced because he's been focused on other aspects, especially for, let's say, Marvel projects. He was replaced by Luke Bracey. His last major role is he played Cobra Commander in G.I. Joe Retaliation.
Oh, that's right. They replaced him in it wasn't J. Gordon Levitt in the second one.
Right, exactly.
Damn, because I like J. Gordon Levitt.
So I think this has actually worked well. I mean, Pierce Brosnan's getting into like the same kind of movies that Liam Neeson gets now. The whole Taken movies.
That's kind of what. Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking. I was looking at that going, okay, this feels kind of a little bit like Liam Neeson's Taken. It also feels a bit like,
and we're seeing a lot of these where it's like,
damn it, I had it on the tip of my tongue. The whole, moving up the next generation, Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy. It's got that kind of feel to it where stuff's going on in the background. There's intrigue. Oh, this is a little more action-ridden than Tinker Tailor was.
Right. But
it's got that kind of mindset to it of, what's going on in the world, who's backstabbing who.
Right.
It doesn't have the over-the-topness of Mission Impossible, there's nothing wrong with Mission Impossible being over the top, but it doesn't have that level of over the top. It's got enough. I just want to know more about what the story is. But I like Pierce Brosnan, so.
Very true. I mean, I look at all this going, it could be a nice addition to all these other movies coming out. I definitely want to see. I mean, Brosnan's always great. I just finally saw, what was it? The World's End. And he actually has a role in that one. That was like, it was great to see him again on TV and whatnot. So, what the hell was it called? I can't remember for the life of me. Because I was thinking of John le Carre.
Oh yeah. The guy who wrote Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy.
Right.
Spy Who Came In from the Cold, Smiley's People.
There's a new...
I heard they were going to do that entire series.
Where is it at? Well, we'll get back to it. There's actually a trailer I saw last night for another of
Le Carre's
novels getting turned into an adaptation, and I believe it's the last film that Philip Seymour Hoffman did. Yeah, we'll keep on going, but I'm going to find this and we're going to show this at the end of the show. So
okay,
I guess I should show this one just for the hell of it, because sci-fi they don't like to let a good thing die. And the thing is, though, when they do let things die, they bring it back so it can die over and over and over again.
They're begging an MST3K.
They are, but honestly, there's begging, and then there's you lose.
But
so much
they're not taking themselves seriously on this one. Not even close.
This is true. This is very true.
What are we talking about, Jason?
Sharknado 2. And remember they had the
second one? That's what they went with?
Yeah.
The second one? Not Chew York, Chew York?
Chew York, the Sharkening, the tens of thousands of other options that people gave them via social media.
I really was fond of Chew York, Chew York. I truly was. I thought that was epic. I actually made the mistake of watching half of the second one, or the first one rather. And the minute the sharks are flying around, and the minute the guy's like, "Oh no, what do I do?" He just ducks and throws the chainsaw above his head, and it's bisects the shark.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god. Yeah, no, that's an MST3K waiting to happen.
I was like, if you're gonna do that, at least have it attached to a chopped off, limb here, so
Yeah. If you're gonna copy Ash.
Yes. All right, so I did find the trailer for the new movie. It actually has one hell of a stellar cast. I mean, it's throwing a grip ton of people into this one.
What's the title?
It's called A Most Wanted Man.
Oh, that one. Okay.
Yeah. So let me show this trailer. I get the same feeling from this trailer, maybe a little more so than I got from Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, it's not one of the Smiley novels.
I don't believe so, no. But it's still fantastic.
Is Gary Oldman anywhere in it?
You'll see.
Looks interesting. I want to see it. I don't know that I want to see it in the theater, but I definitely want to see it.
I'll definitely go see this in the theater. I love a bunch of these types of movies, especially.
Oh, and I love slow burn psych. It's that type of stuff. Anyway, I mean, come on, I'm one of the few people I know who actually absolutely loved Pat Labor, and other people are like, "Oh my god, it's so slow." That's the point.
Yeah, exactly. But then you also turn around and go, robots dancing, the mini patties.
The mini patties.
Good times. All right. We never go on track, so anyways.
No, we don't.
But yeah, so there were we can skip over Sharknado.
Oh, speaking of sci-fis though, on that note.
What's up?
The new season of Defiance is getting ready to come out.
About time.
Yeah, it's coming out later this month or first part of next month. I don't remember which.
Okay.
But coupled with that, they made an interesting move. The game Defiance, how you can watch the show, live in the world, which we're in the game that we almost never play. It's just not that compelling, guys. Sorry.
Yeah, sorry.
But they went free to play. You no longer have to buy the game to play it.
Nice.
So they went the route of DCUO.
Mm-hmm.
They went the route of Star Trek Online,
SWTOR.
Champions Online, SWTOR. They're closer to the SWTOR model than they are to the others in the sense that there's a subscription plan available where if you subscribe, you get, so many ARC something or others.
Right.
I forget what the currency is. But you get premium currency X amount a month, kind of like you get cartel coins in SWTOR.
It's the freemium package.
Effectively, yeah. So if you guys haven't played Defiance because you didn't want to spend the money on the game, now you don't have to.
Yeah, very true.
And it is a pretty cool game. I mean, don't get me wrong. We enjoyed it. We just enjoyed other games more. So it's worth checking out if you have a light pocket. But there you go.
Yeah,
I am looking forward to the new series though, big time.
Yeah, they have a lot to cover, a lot to explain.
Like how the hell they end up in Vegas?
Yeah, that's okay.
St. Louis and Vegas ain't exactly next door to each other.
This is true. Yeah. Okay, so I was actually really surprised by this next bit.
If you're talking about 25, it threw me for a loop.
Yeah. So I found out recently that we've talked about it a few times. We've shown the trailer here on the show of the Dear Mr. Watterson, basically the not documentary, but almost like a love letter to Bill Watterson, the creator of Calvin and Hobbes. That documentary is actually currently available on Netflix. I came across it just yesterday. So I'm gonna try to watch it later on tonight or tomorrow. But what caught my eye is as I was doing some more research on it, trying to find out what more about this that I haven't found out before, is there's an article that just came out recently from the creator behind a currently printing comic series called Pearls Before Swine. And I was really surprised when I read this article. The cartoonist's name is Stefan Patisse, I think his name is. I can't remember how he says it. But he actually very recently
did some guest spots.
Yeah, he reached out to Watterson and say, "You're your idol. You've done some amazing work. You've helped me out so much. Thank you so much." And not only did Watterson reply, but then when Patisse actually make a suggestion, you know what if we brought you back to do like a guest spot? And he actually agreed. So yes, the cartoonist who last drew Calvin and Hobbes riding their sled into history would return to the comics page. The only problem is no one knew. That was the whole thing. So it was a set of three strips, and you can tell which parts of it were actually done by Watterson. You can just tell by his iconic style. The whole idea behind this was that the cartoonist, himself, Patisse, would be help get this little girl in here, and is her trying to create her own comics and him critiquing them. Well, all the little girl aspects, the centerpieces, are actually all done by Watterson, and I can imagine these things are probably going up in price if you want a printed copy of these. I mean, Watterson hasn't done anything really new or anything in a strip in 20 years?
Yeah, it's been a long time.
Very, very long time.
Oh God.
Yeah. So the little girl, her name is Libby. It's basically being used as a 7-year-old alter ego for Bill Watterson. But yeah. Now here's the thing though. Could you imagine, I mean, if they decided to move forward with this, and well, now the cat's out of the bag, I don't think he's going to be able to. But could you imagine Patisse going to Libby and have an idea for film noir, and all of a sudden pops out, Guy Noir or Spaceman Spiff or any of the other things that Calvin had in his imagination.
And once things get out and it gets realized what happened, maybe Watterson will do something again.
God,
I mean,
please.
He left because he burned out.
Yeah.
Which you can't really blame him. I mean, he did the thing 7 days a week for what? 15, 20 years?
Yeah, something like that.
I mean, it's the same reason as Gary Larson. It's you're gonna hit burnout.
Yeah, exactly. I do have to say though that I was like, I don't have all Calvin and Hobbes. Let me look online. Everything's jumped up like 300%. I'm like, and I'm gonna wait.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, I think that was actually a nice little, thing to be able to sneak in there and do some more comics. It definitely shows that he still has the talent.
Yeah, he's still got his mojo.
Yeah. Maybe if he
still got his
around,
mojo good enough that it's really at first you couldn't tell for sure that it was him.
right.
I mean, that's.
And what I will say is the article on Patisse's blog is actually fairly lengthy, but it is a fantastic read. I highly recommend people to check it out. I'll post a link into the chat right now as well. So there's that. But yeah, you guys should check that one out if you can. I know we were going to go over just some of the cool stuff from Computex. Intel has a new M processor, more 2-in-1 tablets, etc., etc. We can skip all of that. Because before we wrap up things that we always do, what starts tomorrow, Michael?
Something I'm not going to, except for Wednesday night.
I'm right there with you. Yes, that is E3.
Yes.
I'm so pissed. All my usual contacts to get tickets in all failed this year. I'm like, oh well.
I'm pretty sure that my contact would have been able to get me in, but why face all the crowds when I can just watch all the keynotes from home?
True, very true. I mean, we've already
there's the whole getting to play the games, but
right, and just experiencing the freaking media zoo that is E3,
and that the media zoo is the problem.
Yeah,
I mean, the last time I went to E3, we stood in line for 40 minutes to play. We stood in line for over 40 minutes to play less than 3 minutes of Resident Evil. I mean, although the Tron stuff was cool.
The Tron stuff was cool. We no longer have, like G4 to actually go there and monitor the whole thing. I think the only thing on TV that you would have right now, I think, is Spike TV.
I'd say Spike will be there, but a lot of the companies are streaming their own. They're streaming their own keynotes themselves. Nintendo sent an announcement out that they're doing it.
Well, Nintendo's actually
Sony's advertising it that you're going to be able to watch it on your PS3 and your PS4, if I remember correctly,
and in some theaters if you really want
live.
to.
Yeah.
Yeah, Nintendo's not even having a press conference at the event. They're doing their whole Nintendo Direct thing, which they've been doing for a few years. Which honestly, I think is kind of the smart thing to do for them, unless they have some physical new hardware to show off.
Well, the current hardware's dying. I mean, they're trying very hard to become the next Sega in that regard.
True,
which is sad because the Dreamcast was a brilliant machine and ahead of its time.
System of all time.
But
I don't know. I look at the Wii U as something that I will definitely pick up in the future, but it's not like I must have it right now kind
there's
of thing.
Nothing on it. There's nothing compelling on it for me to get it. I mean, their interfaces are interesting. The idea of the pad, the other pad, and the interaction. There's some really neat concepts there.
Right.
But they don't have any of the games that pull me in.
True.
Same thing with the X-Bone. The only thing the X-Bone's got that I might be interested in is the next Halo.
Yeah, that's pretty much the only thing I'm really interested in because they had Titanfall. Hey, look, I had it on PC. Don't need an Xbox One.
Well, and that's the big thing is PC gaming is coming back in a big way.
So happy for that.
And I mean, you got Titanfall. Watch Dogs is out now. Oh, I will be getting Watch Dogs come payday if I can help it.
I was tempted to buy it this weekend. I'm like, hold on.
Well, I have to pay all my other bills first, then. Yes. But But I mean, you got Watch Dogs is almost enough to make me buy a PS4. But again, it's there's nothing that screams, "Oh my god, I must have it here." True. I can't play first-person shooters on a console.
But give you a mouse and keyboard, you're just fine though.
Give me a mouse and keyboard. I will headshot till the cows come home and go out again. But on a controller, I can't do it.
No, I understand that. A lot of people are just the same way. So, I mean, while we won't get the experience of being in the zoo, pretty much all the major press events are going to be streamed online. Microsoft will be streaming their presentation on Twitch. Nintendo, aside from the Nintendo Direct, will be broadcasting game demos from the show floor throughout the week. You also have Ubisoft, EA. We already talked about Sony. All but Nintendo are happening tomorrow, starting at 9:30 a.m. with Microsoft. So I will be watching these and trying to snag any little goodies and details and whatnot that we'll share next week. As a side note, there will not be a ad break on this Wednesday because Michael and I will be at Nokia Theater for Video Games Live.
Yes, so looking forward. That's one of my birthday presents from Nikki. So
you saw the little announcement from Video Games Live, right, about what's happening at this one?
No.
Obviously they always have special guests depending on where they're at, and given that it's E3, they have a number of great people there. The person they're bringing is, what's her name? Malika?
I know the name. Okay.
Apparently she's famous for covering like the Dragonborn, song and whatnot. So, like Skyrim songs and whatnot.
Oh, cool.
So she'll be there. There's a few other people and whatnot. Should be a ton of fun. I can't wait to see it. But there will be an ad break episode probably on Thursday instead. So, but I really don't have any predictions for this E3 because,
well, nobody's gonna be announcing new hardware. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on.
The headset,
Hold your horses.
the VR headset.
Valve.
If Valve comes out and just says 3 and drops the mic and walks off stage, that'll be it.
Or if they finally show us a Steam box.
Well, no, they've shown Steam boxes. Even at last CES, there was 13 Steam boxes there.
Okay.
Yeah.
But, I mean, are they going to actually release stuff on them yet?
I think you can buy them right now, I think.
Really? I hadn't heard that. Yeah. Sorry. Okay, I'm out of the loop. My bad.
Oh, that's annoying. You know the Figueroa Hotel, the classic 3 columns on the side usually has some major video game aspect that's used during E3. Right now, it's an ad for an iPhone 5C. That's
they did not announce the iPhone 6?
Did not announce any hardware announcements at.
I know they made some major integration stuff for the OSs.
Yeah,
that is pie in the sky.
From a developer standpoint, and from just checking out the OS for iOS and OS X, it looks sexy. It makes me wish I had a MacBook again. But at that same time, there was no hardware announcement. We'll get that in the fall. Yeah,
I knew they'd put off hardware, but I thought they would have announced the phone.
No, they usually hold off on that until the fall anyway. So, but all right. Yeah, I can't think of anything for E3 other than games, booth babes, which
have toned down over the years.
Yeah, I think for the better.
To an extent.
Give me more of the good games. But the thing is, remember what was it, Tecmo Koei, which used to have when they do the Dead or Alive presentations, they would have like 50 girls on their stage.
God.
Yeah.
Yes.
And all of the
we're going to do a live jiggle physics example. Yeah. That was a bit weird.
We'll see what happens with all this. We'll definitely give you a full rundown next week. Actually, do you want to do one next week because next Sunday is Father's Day?
Yeah, I'm down with it.
Okay.
My children are grown and out of the house. I'm good.
All right, then. We will have a show next Sunday, then. All right, guys. You heard it right here. All right. Well, the wrap up as we always do. Michael, what have you been watching?
Oh, wait. We're not going to talk about the other thing?
Oh, yes. You're talking about this awesome, cool thing.
Don't forget about... So, if you think if you're an animator or an aspiring animator, 3D type, and you think you've got what it takes to work for... what was the company? For Anima, or for Anima, who are the folks who are doing the current iteration of Ava?
Oh, Studio Kata?
Studio Kata, thank you. If you think you're good enough, see if you can do as good as these guys. They have a test that they do where they give you 2 boxes. You have box A, box B, and a figure. The instructions are, for what they do for their tryout is, character comes up, jumps onto box A, and jumps across to box B. And they say, do your interpretation. So they had 3 of their animators do it.
And they're just boxy animations, nothing too detailed, but you can get enough of the sense of the animation style, the character development. I love the fact that they go back and do it in quarter speed.
So you can see exactly what
all
happened.
the details.
But you can also look at these and you can tell that these are the guys who worked on Ava in a lot of them. Although this one kind of had, I saw this one and it looked kind of Toy Story-ish to me.
Yeah, true.
At the end.
Very, very true. Well, because they also had the what's it called, little hat at the end as well.
Yeah, that's what made me think Woody instantly. Mm-hmm. But yeah, so they had, oh god, who'd they have? They had Studio Kara's main animators, Yoshizaku Nakama, Masanori Iwasato, and Yusuke Matsui to give their interpretations.
And here's another one. Apparently it's Monkey D. Luffy.
Tim.
But the sheer sense of action you get out of that.
Oh yeah, no, you get total motion on that. It's incredible what they did with it. And you're right. That's I was trying to figure out who is this? Who is this? Oh yeah, it's Plastic Man, aka Monkey D. Luffy.
It's still like, this just proves, that these animators can basically take practically anything. It doesn't need to be highly detailed, but just the posing, the way they move, the where they put all the cameras. This is just true high quality.
Well, and that's the big thing is the whole thing about believable, realistic, and compelling animation. If you can make a toaster emote, that's the big thing. And when I took hand-drawn animation classes for a couple years, and I suck at it. But if anything beyond a stick figure, I suck. But the idea is to get the feel of it and get that sense of dynamics. And these guys clearly knocked it out of the park. Mm-hmm. You think you can do better? There's a link in the Kotaku did an article on it. Search for the article. Think you have what it takes to be a professional animator. Mm-hmm. That's the title of the article. It's by Brian Ashcraft on Kotaku. And they actually put a link to Studio Kara, so to their recruiting page.
Now, granted, it's all in Japanese, but
it's all in Japanese. But if you can get the Japanese translated and you think you're a good enough animator, go for it.
There you go.
I want to see what you can do.
Good times. Yeah, good find on that one, Michael.
Oh yeah, I was rather fond of that.
All right. So, what have you been watching?
What have I been watching? Not a hell of a lot. I've watched. I stumbled on a comedian I'd never heard of before on Friday called Ilse Schlesinger. Schlesinger?
Okay. Oh, Schlesinger. Okay.
Oh my god, this woman is clearly a geek because she throws in geek references subtly. It's not a like, hey, I'm a geek girl. It's not like she's trying to play that up. Mm-hmm.
Which is nice. It's nice.
Which is nice, but she's got a special called War Paint, which is now available on Netflix. You want to laugh your freaking ass off? This woman is hilarious. She apparently won season 6 of Last Comic Standing.
Okay.
And she's been on Arsenio. She's been in a couple other places, but this is her first special. So if you've got Netflix, watch War Paint. You will laugh. It induced asthma attacks in Nikki because she was laughing so hard.
That's pretty high praise right there.
Yeah.
Good times. As for me, have you watched anything else or? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I haven't watched too much stuff lately, just for the sole fact of just been busy with work and life and whatnot. I did catch Will Wheaton's new show, The Will Wheaton Project, which essentially is talk soup for sci-fi stuff.
Yeah, I caught one episode of that Saturday. I caught it, and yeah, it's part talk soup, part Tosh.0.
Yeah, I'm fine with it.
Some of it was good. Oh my god, how many episodes has he done? Was this the first one that was run?
I think there's about 2 or 3 episodes that are out.
Okay, did you see the latest one?
Yes.
With what's her name from the Guild?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Has she turned into soccer mom all of a sudden?
I'm wondering.
That haircut and that dress are doing her no favors.
No.
I mean, oh my God, really? Come on, woman.
Yeah, I think she's starting to go down that path.
Yeah. But yeah, no, it had some pretty fun. There was some pretty funny stuff in it, and it may be Talk Soup or the Will Wheaton version of Talk Soup, but and Tosh Point oh combined. But he comes up with some pretty funny stuff.
That he does.
I have to give him credit there.
The only anime that I've just earlier today decided to catch up on was Makaku City Actors.
How is that going? Because I'm behind on it.
Good. Now, I know you watched the first episode and you were hoping for AI chick to go freaking crazy.
Not necessarily crazy. Well, yeah, I wanted to see what the hell she did.
Right. You really don't see any of that. But you do get her backstory, and oh dear God. I was like, I was not expecting that.
Okay.
So,
is it another feels moment, or is it something wacko?
Little column A, little column B. I mean,
okay.
it is a Shaft series, so normality goes out the door with frame 1. So that and
don't tell me she's a refugee from the Bakemonogatari series.
And then when there's a full moon, that no, no, nothing like that.
She's not like Kanbaru, the digital version, or Senjigahara, the digital version.
As awesome as that would be, sadly, no. But the use of all the main characters' powers, actually, they're starting to use them more often. You start to get a little more backstory to why they do or do not use their powers. It actually has captured my attention better than some episodes of Bakemonogatari. So,
well, I will have to go back and catch up.
Now, with that being said, I have like 15 other series I need to catch up on.
Well, having a girlfriend, Jason.
Yeah, I know. It's like, where did all my free time go? Oh, that's right. And that's why is my wallet? Oh, that's why. Oh, okay. It's part of life.
I'm not saying, but I'm just saying.
I'm just saying. All right.
Hour of beep.
And on that note, should we add anything else before we wrap this up?
I'm good, man.
All right. It's been a full episode. We as always, we never stick on the
not really
on path. But you know what? I think that it just makes us. I could easily try to make myself think that we're unique, but we're pretty much the ADHDs of the geek podcast crowd.
As long as we're not boring.
Yeah, good point. Very good point. So yeah, thank you guys so much for hanging out. Stay tuned for post show. We'll see you guys next week. Yeah, for From Mother's Basement. I'm Jason.
And I'm Michael.
We will see you guys next week. You take it easy, everybody.